everyone. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. Recently, there was an article on Local 12, Hawaii, WKRC Oahu, about a new study that came out that the islands of Hawaii are sinking into the ocean much faster than anticipated, which could lead to increased flood risk and some areas disappearing completely. This is actually biblical. And I often say that everything in the Bible can be proven by science. Recently, I looked into red light therapy. Well, red light therapy is actually near infrared spectrum. A unobscured sunlight delivers around 20 to 40 milliwatts, I believe, of red and near red light. One of the gifts you can ask to acquire from God is laying of the hands. And come to find out that our bodies emit electromagnetic radiation, the same wavelength of this red light energy. Such radiation is sometimes called thermal radiation. Most of the radiation emitted by the human body is in the infrared region, mainly in the wavelength of 12 microns. So that's just another example of what is mentioned in the Bible, which can be scientifically proven. Now, it's just not just the Hawaiian Islands that are sinking, but there's a lot of other areas around the world where this is occurring. In their paper about the subsidence of Oahu, it was 0.6 millimeters, or about the thickness, they say, of 10 sheets of paper. Some areas of the southern border of Oahu are sinking 25 millimeters per year, almost 40 times faster than the expected rate, and the researchers said this information was worrying, but not surprising, since that area is built on sediments and artificial fill. Well, that's all BS. That is not the reason for the sinking. They went on to say that subsidence could increase flood exposure areas by over 50% in 25 years by 2050. So I found a paper dated 2010 talking about underplating of the Hawaiian swell, evidence of telesemitic receiver functions. We all know that there is sinking from compression of fill, things like that, but that's not what's going on with the Hawaiian Islands. Other places around the world is on Karoo Province in southern Africa. Yep, they have lots of earthquakes there. Laccadive Island in the Indian Ocean. The British Isles. The British Isles show that a large amount of high velocity material occurs around an area there in the Irish Sea. Underplates have been imaged below the southern Chile, Ecuador, Colombia, North Cascade, Alaska, and possibly the eastern Aleutian forearcs. Deep underplates have also been observed near Japan and New Zealand forearcs. All those areas have high seismicity. The Hawaiian Islands are an example of an age-progressive island chain formed by volcanism, long thought to be fed from a hotspot source that is more or less fixed in the mantle. So they did a study, and I showed you the paper from 2010, which analyzed the thickness of the seismic lithosphere in the region. There was another study in 2004 which indicated substantial lithospheric thinning downstream from the active volcanoes, and therefore favors the thermal erosion mechanism. So you think, what's thermal erosion mechanism? The rising or ascent of magma to the surface or to shallower levels through dikes causes three things to happen. Their adjacent host rock walls, the heat is transferred due to the magma cooling. Also, fluid dynamics, shear force, the pressure, and a temperature difference within the host rocks and magma. Yeah, it fractures the walls, cracks the walls, allows the magma to come up and go through, and then you get the thinning of the lithosphere. These three effects simultaneously lead to two physical processes, naming what they call thermal erosion, the erosion of the crust of the earth, and mechanical fragmentation of the host rocks. So as the magma comes up, becoming lava onto the different sea mounds and islands, the weight is actually pushing down on the lithosphere, creating troughs around the island. And you can kind of see it when you go to Google Earth and look at some of these islands. There's another real good example of the trough. And that's because the island is pushing down on the lithosphere. See all these islands? See that? So here we have an image of the lithosphere. We got the upper crust and the uppermost solid mantle. It's drawn out there for you. Here's another image of the lithosphere and what's going on here at these different hotspots. Yeah, even over there in the UK. Yeah, by the Irish Sea. Yeah, and like I said, yeah, South America, etc., Alaska. And there's some arrows drawn at the bottom. I got another image for you showing the magnetic underplating as this hot plumes come up and it fractures the rock around it, allowing, yeah, if I can bring it down a little bit farther, yeah, showing how the lithosphere is actually thinning underneath, right there. This underplating has also been observed at the different seamounds that are along the Hawaiian Emperor seamound chain. And I found two documents going way up towards the Aleutian Islands here of two more seamounds that definitely have the underplating right there. And then we got the Aleutian Islands here. Magmatic underplating occurs when basalt magmas are trapped during their rise to the surface. Sometimes they're entrapped or stalling out of the magmas within the crust of the earth due to the difference in relative density between the rising magma and the surrounding rock. Magmatic underplating can be responsible for the thickening of the crust when magma cools. Revelation 16, line 18 says there were voices and thunder and lightning, and there was a great earthquake. This is what starts the sinking of the islands. A great earthquake such as what was not seen since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great. Verse 19 says that the great city was divided into three parts, and the city of the nations fell. And great Babylon came into remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And then 20, every island fled away, and the mountains were not to be found. I talked about how we got mountain building because of the tectonic plates pushing against each other. A good example is the Cascade subduction zone, where those mountains, once they have a large earthquake that releases the pressure that built up those mountains, yeah, they suddenly collapse and return to yeah, where they were originally. Yeah, a flat surface, an ocean, plain, whatever. So for me at least, it shows how close we are to the end times. If you want to believe in that, I do. But the sinking of the islands actually starts with a great earthquake that literally shakes the whole planet. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.